This is a true story that almost turned a simple act of kindness into a nightmare. Imagine driving alone on a dark, empty road late at night, and suddenly you see someone standing by the roadside, desperately asking for a ride, but something about them just doesn't feel right. It was a cold, windy night. The only sound the humming engine and the rustling of leaves under the dim streetlights. The protagonist is driving home after a long day, tired but feeling safe. The road is desolate, except for a lone figure ahead. The hitchhiker is a young man, soaked from rain, with an odd shimmer to his eyes-too-wide, unblinking. His clothes are outdated but clean. He asks politely, almost too calmly, if he can get a lift to the next town. The protagonist hesitates, but decides to stop out of sympathy. As the stranger gets in, the atmosphere shifts, the radio static crackles, the temperature drops visibly, and the normally comforting hum of the engine feels oppressive. The stranger's silence grows heavy with tension. Occasionally, he mutters things under his breath, words not quite making sense. The car's interior light flickers. Outside, shadows play tricks at the corners of the windshield. Suddenly, the hitchhiker asks personal questions too, personalized. He knows details about the protagonist's life that never should have been public. Maybe events from childhood or secrets never shared. The protagonist tries to change the subject, but the stranger grows insistent, voice dipping lower, almost sinister. When the driver realizes the stranger is directing the car towards a remote, abandoned cemetery instead of their destination, panic sets in. The radio emits a shrill noise, causing the driver to momentarily lose control. In desperation, the protagonist feigns losing consciousness, collapsing in the seat. The stranger reacts not with horror, but with a cold, unfathomable smile. The car stops. The driver wakes up alone. No sign of the hitchhiker anywhere. Looking around, the protagonist finds himself exactly where he picked up the hitchhiker farther down the road. Later, after researching news reports, he learns that decades ago, a man matched matching the hitchhiker's description died on that very road in a mysterious accident. People say his spirit still wanders, asking for rides that no one should ever give. So next time you see a stranger on the side of the road, think twice before stopping. Because some hitchhikers never truly leave. If you've ever driven down a dark highway late at night and spotted a car suddenly appear behind you, you know the uneasy feeling it sends down your spine. This story will make you never want to stop for a stranger again. The protagonist is returning from a friend's party, driving through a long stretch of remote road surrounded by dense forest. The moon is barely visible behind thick clouds, and the only illumination comes from headlights slicing through the darkness. Suddenly, out of nowhere, another car appears behind an older model, black, and with no headlights on. The car is eerily quiet, but moves precisely in sync with the protagonist's speed. They try to ignore it at first, chalking it up to a coincidence. But each time the protagonist changes lanes or adjusts speed, the other car matches perfectly. The radio static increases, and faint murmurings seem to echo the protagonist. Can't tell if it's real or just nerves. The driver glances in the rearview mirror and notices several indistinct figures inside the other vehicle, faces pale and expressionless. There are no headlights or taillights functioning on the carrots, as if it's been pulled out from a nightmare. Heart pounding, the protagonist accelerates, but the strange car keeps pace, casting long shadows through the trees that flicker and distort. The other car flashes its high beams briefly, momentarily blinding the protagonist. Then they see something truly horrifying in the mirror the figures inside aren't human, or at least. Their eyes glow with an unnatural light. Frantic, the protagonist takes a sudden exit, dodges down a dirt road into the woods, hoping to lose the pursuer. The eerie car follows, tires crunching leaves behind, getting closer. As the dirt road curves and narrows, the protagonist hears faint whispers from outside, carried by the wind through the cracked window. Finally, the car slows and stops. The doors creak open on their own, Looking back from the driver's seat, the protagonist sees the car is now empty, no driver, no passengers. Suddenly, the car vanishes into the night mist, leaving nothing but eerie silence and the sound of their own shaking breath. After returning home shaken, the protagonist research old local legends. They discover stories of a ghostly vehicle that appears on that road, trapping drivers in endless chase, lost souls doomed to follow the living forever. The protagonist swears never to drive that way again. Remember, some rides are better left unaccepted, and some cars are better left alone.